Okay guys, really simple project today. Just going to make a pizza peel as part of our Pizza Oven Odyssey series. So I've just got some, how big is it? 180 I think? 180 by 10 mil piece of pine here. Nothing special. We're just going to cut out 3 strips. I think the first one I'm going to make about 600. And then we're going to do a couple of pieces that are 500. The 600 will be, well, we might even make it longer actually. Let's go a little bit longer. Let's go 650, and that can be our handle, our middle piece, and then we'll have 2 shorter pieces next to it. I'm just going to cut them out using a circular saw and then laminate them together. Right, that's our cutting done. These boards are going to lay out together like that. They're going to laminate together. Then we'll cut it out. All right, so really simple, this project. All we're going to do is just get a heap of glue on here, clamp it together, and then we'll come back to this a little later and cut the shape out. Now, a good tip is always to get heaps of glue on these joints. We don't want any little gaps. You can use a brush. I like to just use my finger. It's pretty easy. A bit messier maybe. And yeah, my clamps are fairly big, so they're slightly overkill, but they'll do the job. So I'm just using PVA wood glue for this. So a good little tip, if you have any overflow on your PVA glue, is just to get a damp cloth and give it a nice wipe. The damp cloth's going to mean it's just going to pick up all that residue and it's going to leave you with a cleaner finish afterwards. At this stage I can just tighten up the clamps a little bit more. So at the moment I've got a little rise in this board by probably what is maybe quarter of a millimetre. So what I may do is end up putting a block on, might spin this round and clamp a bit of wood onto this to clamp it to the table to get rid of this tiny little rise here. It's really negligible, but if we're going to try to do this properly, we may as well try to get rid of that. Right, so I'm just going to grab a bit of scrap wood and clamp this down. Now, I'm just going to chuck it down in the middle and see if that gets rid of that little bit of rise. If we need it, we might just get a bit of extra weight on that area. So I'm just going to clamp this down on one side. This will be pretty tight, that side. And yeah, I can already see that that's disappeared. That's nice and flush now. So we're going to leave this about 24 hours to dry, and then we'll come back, put a template on it, mark it out, and then cut it out on the bandsaw. So took the laminated pieces out of the clamps, and they've held together quite well and pretty smooth as well, so we won't need to do too much sanding this way. As you can see, I've already cut it out. I just cut it out on the bandsaw. You know, I don't need to show you a video of me cutting something out. There's a million other videos on YouTube of this. So yeah, I've just cut it out into a shape that I wanted. You could just do any shape you wanted. You could go for the traditional pizza peel shape. I just wanted something a little bit different with the handle. And from here, as you can see, I've kind of marked this line. That's where I'm going to try to sand using a belt sander to try to bring this up, taper this up and I'll probably only go up to about maybe 2 or 3 mil from the bottom. So it's, the taper's not going to go down all the way, it's just going to go almost all the way, and that will become clear when you see it after sanding. So we've finished sanding down our board. Spent quite a lot of time on the belt sander. As you can see, got a nice little taper, and we've left 2 or 3 millimeters just on the edge. I actually ended up sanding the back edge a small amount, just to give it a nice kind of scoop at the beginning. So the last step of the process is that we need to seal this board up. So you can use a variety of different oils. You could use like a butcher block oil or something like that. We're just going to use some normal vegetable oil, just some soybean oil this time. And all I'm going to do is just add this oil on quite liberally to start off with, and let it soak in. So a good idea is to go with the grain of the wood, and that way it's going to soak in a lot easier. Giving it a coating, just going to leave it for 12 to 24 hours, let it soak in, and probably give it another coat. This is going to help give the wood some waterproofing, and as you can see, it brings out the nice natural grain of the wood.